So reports from retailers show that people are still buying, but they're being a little bit more picky about what they buy and for how much, what price tag. For more insight on where shoppers are spending, I'm joined by Deborah Weinswig, who is the Coresight founder and CEO. I mean, Deborah, you just heard the run through from our own Brooke DePalma on some of the earnings results that we've seen over the course of this retail portion of the earnings season. What is your evaluation of where consumers are comfortable spending and where they're pushing back?
It's a great question. I think, we've still got some more earnings, but at this point, we're seeing luxury continues to perform well because there's value in this idea around sustainability of the product. There's a huge focus on value. So almost this hourglass, right? So you're going to spend on duration. You're also going to spend on value. And the middle continues to get squeezed. I think we're continuing to see that. And innovation, right? So if there's innovation in electronics, if there is innovation in home, where there's innovation, the consumer is also very focused. So I would say that this idea of where we are is not so different than where we expected. It's just that the middle is getting squeezed probably a bit more than everyone would have thought at this point in the cycle.
Which retailers does that middle squeeze, if you will, as you mentioned, impact the most?
Target comes to top of mind, right? Grocery that is not value oriented. So that would be like a Kroger and Albertsons, et cetera, right? We've really seen Walmart pick up share and continue to not only be top of mind for consumers, but also very focused on budget and with some of their new programs around loyalty. So I would say it's those retailers where you have loyalty, but that you are also price sensitive. And so more in the kind of, we call it the consumer staples categories. And I think, a Target, a Kroger, Albertsons, those are the ones where I'd be more concerned at this point that they're losing market share to others or not growing their share as much as we would have expected.
How well positioned are companies who have more of a digital footprint, who have really gone omnichannel, invested for years now at this juncture into some of their elements in having this touch point with a lot of their customers that used to make their way purely into doors or into malls, and perhaps now the shopping mall, as they think about it, has shifted to just being in their feed and they want to purchase that way, or it's just an app that they use. All of these things considered, how prominent is the digital first, or at least the digital second type of retail experience?
Your timing on that is beyond perfect. So we were just out at ICSC, which is the big retail real estate show. And what we've seen, I think surprisingly, right, foot traffic is literally at an all-time high. And the top malls, there's no space. They're literally building in the outlots, meaning like the parking lot. So this idea of online, offline kind of coming together is really what's critical. And I think that what you're alluding to is that we've got to see the same pricing ideology product both in the digital world and the physical world, and having a consistent experience is also very critical. The ability to kind of showcase and highlight the innovation is also very important. And I think it goes back to, right, kind of calling out a Foot Locker and some of the other retailers who are really doing a great job of delivering tech. We're really seeing them kind of like rise to the top because the consumer is not only trying that in store, but they're also buying online. And the simplicity, frictionless, seamlessness, however you want to look at it, between the online and the offline world is more relevant than ever. And for those retailers who do it right, we're seeing lower returns in terms of, right, consumer keeping the product. We're seeing higher ROI, and then we're seeing more, not only digital traffic, but foot traffic as well. So there definitely is a winning formula right now that we're seeing.
Deborah, to the extent that your crystal ball is still fully functioning, I mean, mine's in the shop right now, but we're going into a season where during the summer, people prioritize experiences shopping and experiences spending. What does that hold for some of the largest retailers and consumers looking at the evaluation of where they're seeing value in goods versus where they have a propensity to spend on making sure that they're getting R&R and the vacation experiences?
Yeah, that is really relevant. I mean, there's a mall out in New Jersey called American Dream. And so you can shop and experience. There's literally like an amusement park and whatnot. So I think that what we're seeing is that this idea almost of like the mall as an experience, and one that's very affordable, is becoming increasingly important, relevant, and certainly the retailers and The landlords are thinking about that as, budgets may be a little bit more restricted this summer. And so I think this idea of how to deliver an unbelievable experience at a price that people can afford, and that they can also, be with their families and, kind of check some things off of their to-do list. That is what we're seeing for summer 24. And you have to think, right, back to school moves earlier and earlier and earlier, right? There are schools that start mid-July.
Jeez.
So, yes, in the
Sorry,
fall.
I didn't think I said that out loud, Deborah.
Okay. But, you think about it, right? We're almost in June 1st. So some folks are going back to school in 6 weeks. And so that's where, right, this summer becomes increasingly different depending on where you live. And I think that it's more challenging for retailers because some of them are already thinking about, right, July 4th. I mean, we're talking about back to school right now. And so I think those are some of the challenges that retailers are facing to try and be relevant. And that's where you talk about the online, the offline experience, right? We don't want back to school right now in the North, but in the South, it's probably a pretty important message to be getting across. And I think retailers are doing a great job utilizing technology, whether it's Gen AI, predictive and prescriptive analytics, to really deliver that custom experience. And I think, those retailers who are doing a great job of it, Walmart's a great example, right? They're seeing top results.
All right. A tough district to live in for a lot of the students out there, perhaps, if you're going back to school in July. I don't know. Maybe they like it. Who knows? Deborah, thanks so much for taking the time here today. Really do appreciate the time and insights.
Thank you.
Certainly.